All right. One thing I see, this is going to be a quick, no fancy editing, just super straightforward video. I've been doing calisthenics for like 5 years now. I started from doing just push-ups from on the floor and doing pull-ups on my door frame. And I've accumulated a lot of knowledge over the years. I've learned almost every skill I've wanted except for full planche, and I'm planning on getting that and one-arm planche this year or the next year. But I see trash content all over the internet, and it's usually just the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't really help anybody. And I know a lot of people, and I see people who pay a lot of money for courses or workout programs, when I know me and my boys from back in the day, we would do workouts way harder than that, get way more progress, and just going to the park normally. You guys are basically, I mean, hurt nobody's feelings, but you guys are working way too hard for something and for results that are not even that good. So over the years, obviously I haven't been working out that long. There's plenty of athletes in New York doing it for 10 or more years. But for me, I've tried to learn from the old guys because I know that they know best, and I try to implement that in everything, in my welding career and just in my marriage and all that. So number one, the best thing that helped me get all the progress was when I was at first. This is when I didn't really have money to even go drive to the park or go to like a gym membership. So number one thing is we would do what was hard. Essentially, I would just pick out what I could do normally. And this can be applied even if you don't got no money, if you don't have time. Do what's hard and make it as hard as possible. So we all have strengths and weaknesses. I legit had a 20-pound dumbbell curl, and I could not curl that thing with one hand. I had to do two hands, for real. And it was really hard to do because I was like 130 and I never worked out in my life. But literally focusing every single day, I would grab that thing, do as many push-ups as I could first, and as many sit-ups as I could first. And I couldn't really do much, so I'd probably do like 10 or 20 push-ups. And if you can't even do that, you would do push-ups on the wall, or you do push-ups on like a table. There was really never an excuse if you were working out with people. But that's another thing. Doing what's hard and trying to progress over time slowly. A lot of people mess up with that. But I literally grabbed the 20-pound dumbbell. I pick it up. I curl it as much as I could, right? I curl it as much as I could. I didn't know much about working out, but I would curl as much as I could. But when I'm like right there and I can't curl anymore, I get my other hand and I help it up like this. And I'll keep going, keep going. Stuff like that with that mindset of just like, I don't have much, but I'm going to make it work is going to take you leaps ahead of everybody else. Because they're just going to be like, they're going to work on something that they're comfortable with. Or they'll work on something and not really push it to the extent of just like, I need to go above and beyond this. So, next tip. This isn't like your standard. This is what I hate about like the fitness industry nowadays. People do the same thing every time and they think they're doing something crazy. People will be like, okay, I'm doing my 3 sets of 12, my 3 sets of 15, my 5 sets of 5. You know what me and my boys would do? We would do literally 10 sets of 10. 10 times 10, 100 reps. 10 sets of 10 pull-ups with weight. Okay? I don't know if I got the video, but I'm probably not going to edit it. But I had a plate, like not plate, a 25-pound plate that a friend gave to me. And I wrapped it around my waist. We would do 10 pull-ups, muscle up, and then we would do 20 dips. Those were the types of routines we would do. So we would do 10 sets of 10 and 10 sets of 20 in the same set for 10 times. So that's 200 dips and 100 pull-ups. Now, this is not the flex or anything. Anybody could do the routine. I'm not saying I did all that once, but I'm just saying we never really did basic 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12. We might do like that sometimes for like specific skill work. But even then, we would just push it to be like, okay, what's like a good amount I can do? What's a crazy amount I can do? And what's something like what I would do, I would basically picture like, what's the elite guy doing? And I would look at his video on YouTube and he'd be like, okay, I'm doing this, this, and this. Don't do what I do. I didn't take that advice. I did exactly what he did to get his results. And obviously I couldn't do what he did. So I would scale it down to my level, and I would scale it down to where my strength level was at. And that's what we would do. So if we saw a guy from New York doing 10 sets of 10 pull-ups, we would do 10 sets of 10. Now, of course, we would have our boys spot us and lift us up, or we would have, you know, be jumping a lot, or we would do pull-ups on the floor. We didn't really focus much on like getting everything perfect and doing a set that's like, oh, we're in this range, so we're going to focus on getting more endurance, or we're on this range, so we're going to be focusing on strength. It's like, yo, I want a planche. I want to be able to do a one-arm muscle up. I don't want to do nothing easy. I want to do something that's crazy and it's going to have people's heads turning. So we would do the crazy routines that would make it easier to do even crazier stuff in the future. So Zef Zakavelli, he's like one of the pioneers of calisthenics. I don't mean to be glazing, but what one of the quotes that he said, he's like, the hardest routine is the one you never attempt. That I carry with me whenever I would do a challenge. So what people nowadays, they would have like a little program, and I'm not saying programs are bad, but I'm just saying we would never use that, and we would get better results than people who did use them. Now, of course, you know, organization and stuff like that could help some people out, put them on like a good path, especially if they're a beginner. But we would literally just see a challenge that somebody would post, and we'd be like, let's try that challenge. Let's see if we can go faster. Or we would have like a 5MD, 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups in 5 minutes. I was terrified of that routine. Or I would see Vadim set, an elite set, a God set, stuff a lot, but all those sets, we would try it at least once in order to get a feel for it. Yeah, we couldn't move for a couple of days afterwards, but we now had the mental capacity of doing an intense set. All right, next one. Overdoing and underdoing a warm-up and not knowing the point of it. Okay, a warm-up should not be super complicated. A warm-up has like two purposes: to get you ready mentally and get you ready physically to do some hard labor, because it's labor. You guys should not spend any more than 20 minutes, maybe, if you're injured. Now, I have injured my wrists, I've injured my shoulder, I've injured my sternum, I've injured basically everything. That's kind of a part of the gig if you're going to do calisthenics. You're going to injure a lot of stuff. And people are going to say, oh, if you did programming, it's like, shut up, you're weak. Ain't nobody want to hear all that. But, so the point of a proper warm-up, okay, depends on what you're doing. But honestly, I get off work and I work like a 8 to 12 hour welding fabricator shift. Okay, I'm already sweating. I don't really warm up much unless I'm doing like a specific thing. So here's how I would warm up. What I do, and you can tweak it, I would do stuff to get my head right. And so I would just start sweating. I could be just doing muscle ups if you can handle that. I would just be doing some pull-ups, paused, push-ups, paused, and I would focus on the wrist, really focusing on spreading those open. And a really good warm-up for your wrists is to tense your fingers as hard as you can and squeezing them as slow as you can, but with full tension. That is the best warm-up for your wrist that no one talks about. I learned that from Red Delta Project. But the most important thing is like getting your shoulders warmed up and learning how to, like, if you could see it, activate your lats. That is probably the most important thing you could do in a warm-up. So basic scat pulls, planche presses, or not presses, on the floor, just trying to get your shoulders like that, and not just pushing with your shoulders, but not just depressing, but more engaging your lats. I like to think of it as using my armpits more, because everybody does the same thing of just like depress and engage, but it don't really help out because you don't know what muscles you're activating. You're just doing this. So then that would basically be it. Just like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, planche leans, and then I would do like a handstand and some front levers, but like some small front lever raises. That, and then if I'm doing like a weighted set, I would start ramping up. So I would start, if my max is like 135, okay? I'm not feeling 135 every time. So I would go up and feel the weight out. And sometimes you're going to make mistakes in how much heavier you thought you could, or I could go way heavier than this. It's okay to adjust it during the workout. So understand that it shouldn't take more than 10 or 20 minutes to warm up. And if you don't even need that much, you don't have to. Just do enough to where you feel like you're strong enough. You're like, okay, I can go hard. The next thing, you guys overcomplicate your routines. Like I saw this kid, he was in the gym for like 5 hours. And I'm not going to lie, I worked out for 8 hours before, but Now that I know, if you're spending any more time than like 4 hours, and I've trained with like gymnasts who work out, like who go to competitions, and they would work out, we would work out together, we would do like maybe 3 hours. Those guys are not Olympic, but they're on their way to the Olympics, and they are on a team, and they do all that. They've been trained since they were babies, and I can still keep up with them. Meanwhile, I've been only working out for like 4 or 5 years. So what people would do, they would do a workout for literally every single thing. Like, I got to do my straight arm, I got to do my hand balancing, I got to do my iron cross pressing, I got to do my sprinting. Okay, it's good that you have the energy and the passion to do all those things, but you are really like fattening up your workout and getting almost negative results. The reason is because you are human. You do not have infinite energy. Even if you're young, your body can only do so much intense stuff at a time. And I've tried to do everything intensely. I've literally took one workout for push, pull, legs, and just combined it all in one day. Was that necessary? No. Did I do it anyways to say I could do it? Yes. But did it help me as much as I could if I just split it up? Absolutely. Focusing on like, here's like the best mindset. Because people who spend like 4 or 5 hours in the gym have no life, or just are wasting time because they actually think they need to do all this. What you should do is treat it like, okay, if someone had a gun to you and you said, okay, you can only pick 5 exercises, maybe 6 if I'm being nice. But I only pick 4 or 3. Pick only 4 or 5 exercises. It was the only exercise you could use for the entire life. Watch how important the exercises you pick are. And then look how it removes all the fat from the workout. And it's just like, oh, okay, maybe I don't need to add some more bicep curls or tricep extensions. It's like, for me, I go pull up, squat, either a push-up or a dip, and I'd say a handstand. That's it. Those 4 exercises are the majority of my routine. And I would just do variations of the pull-ups. So you can do weighted pull-ups, or you do one-arm pull-ups. That's good. You don't see me doing like freaking, what is it called? Skull crushers, head bangers, and those are all really good exercises. I'm just saying, like, you are a human being with limited time, and you don't need to spend so much time in the gym if you could get the same result, if not better, with less exercises. All right, another one. This one's huge tip. Having enormous goals. Have huge aspirations. If you want a one-arm planche and do a one-arm muscle-up with a 45-pound plate, go for that. Know that it's going to take you a few years, a lot of years maybe, but people, they have like this idea of just like, yeah, it's a good idea to have realistic goals. But for me, when I wanted a handstand push-up, I didn't just think I wanted a handstand push-up. I want to do a handstand push-up with a 25-pound plate on my waist and just crank out handstand push-ups. Having that is kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I have such a huge goal, but this is my actual goal. But me reaching for that goal is going to put me around where I actually want to be. But I still have that aspiration to reach even higher, because I don't want to do like some stuff that everybody can do. That's not why we got into calisthenics. We got into calisthenics because we saw a dude planching online, or we saw Hannibal for King doing something awesome and he looked shredded, and we wanted to do that thing. Doing kind of what everybody else is doing is not going to get you what the guy who has what everybody wants is doing. So another thing, obsess about it. Obsess, literally go crazy about it, about this goal. Like, I want to get a handstand push-up. Like, be insane about it. When people think you train too much, that is the perfect amount. And another thing is, write down the goal and like put it somewhere you could see every day and look at it. And before you go to bed or while you're training, another great thing for your warm-up is while you're doing your little thing right here, getting a little warm-up in, you actually think about the goal that you want to hit. You visualize the move you're trying to do. You visualize yourself actually doing the planche. How would it feel like for your muscles to be pressing that much weight? How would it feel like me pulling a front level row? How would it feel? How much tension would it be? And I would actually be flexing my muscles while I was doing that whole thing. So have big goals, write it down, and look at it and visualize yourself doing it. Another thing, confusing range of motion with form. There is a difference. This is like how you can tell people who started and there's people who've been doing it for a few years. Form is different than range of motion, and especially in competitions. Now, you may not want to be in a competition, but there's a big difference. Range of motion, my form is probably going to be the same as your form, but my range of motion is going to kill everybody around me. And I've trained specifically for that reason. The difference between form and range of motion. Okay, standard form, or what I consider standard form for pull-ups. Locked out elbows, like this, to over the chin. How I do my pull-ups in terms of range of motion, what people mostly do, they just be like, all right, boom. Or when they do a push-up, they go like, all right, shoulder breaks to the elbow. How I do them, and in terms of like range of motion, I pull to my waist. If I do a push-up, I am doing a push-up as low as my joint will let me. Another thing for handstand push-ups. If I do a handstand push-up, I am going literally below my chest and then curling and pressing back up. There is a big difference when people say I do push-ups and I do push-ups. Very big difference. Now, you don't need to go crazy like I do, like putting your face underneath a dip bar, but it's good to understand how a range of motion affects the form. People who do 100 push-ups like this is different than the guy who does 100 push-ups like this. Very different. And what was it? For form and full range, working in a smaller range of motion can be good. I do both because, again, I had an injury. Sometimes going shorter on a range that you feel good in and it doesn't hurt, like this is how I had to be for dips. Literally, like this. And I'm used to doing it under my face. But sometimes you can just work with that and it'd be good enough. Don't use that as an excuse to not continue training. And two more things, and these are the most important things I would say, because this is life. You know, it's never going to be a perfect workout. How to work out sleep deprived and tired and stressed. Everyone on the internet is going to tell you got to eliminate the stress from your life. You got to sleep well. Guess what? People got kids. I don't, thankfully. People work out for 12 hours. I do that. People are stressed from relationships, from life, from work, from bills, freaking anything. Anything. It can stress them out. And, you know, sometimes worrying about what I'm going to eat later is going to be stressing me out while I'm working out. It's just how it's going to be. So I'm going to show you how to work out like that. When I am about to work out, I plan the workout. Sorry, I had to grab pizza real quick. But basically what I do if I'm ever like stressed out or tired and I don't want to work out at all, what I do is like 3 things to make life easier. 1, I don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Okay? If you have a life and you have stuff to do all the time and you just working out is really the last thing you want to do right now, try to make it as enjoyable and as easy as possible. What I do is, I'm not the type of person to really wake up at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. to work out. I'm not built like that. But I would just have my gym clothes ready, pre-workout meal, and I would have it in the car or on my lunch break or something, or when I'm about to leave work, I have it there. So that way I'm looking at it and I just change, I get over it and I do what I gotta do. I'm not really a big fan of blasting music. It's not really my thing. Plus I'm Muslim, I can't really listen to music. But what I do is I would listen to like really good nasheeds or like acapellas. But the main thing that like helps is 1, having basically listening to your body. And it's just like, listen, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I don't want to do anything, everything hurts, everything sucks. Either adjust the volume or the intensity or both. Okay, it's okay. Like, even for me, like a guy, I can do 1-arm muscle-ups. Like 1 arm, like that. And there are still days where I get so tired and I can't, like it's a struggle to do just 2-arm body weight pull-ups. It's hard and it's okay. Especially for someone who's really passionate. You're just like, I was so brutally strong last week and I can't even do this. It's okay. Just be easy on yourself. So be easy on yourself. Like almost do like positive affirmations. You know what's a good thing? Envisioning you and kind of lying to yourself the whole time. Not like lying, but like you're like telling yourself over and over and over again. Like, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go work out. It'll be okay. something quick, something easy, something so I get in and get out as soon as possible. Because something is always better than nothing, no matter what it is. All right. So last thing, last tip that no one talks about in calisthenics. I don't get why, especially how big the community is or how like tightly bunched y'all are. Find a workout partner that's better than you. Wallahi, the best time or the best day or the day where I made the most progress was when I met someone who could planche. Or Angel, the guy's name. I didn't know planche was a real thing. I thought it was a myth until I met someone who could actually do it in front of me. Like I saw him do it and I was like, you didn't do it. I got a phone recorder. I recorded him do it while looking at him and he did it in front of me. I was like, this is real. This is real. Like, I was like, what? Planche is real? When you meet someone that's better than you, it immediately kills all excuses, especially if we're like a similar build than you. We're very similar in builds. If you see someone who's like similar build than you, same passion, same love, same drive, same work ethic for being the best at calisthenics, like it opens the doorway of just like, oh my gosh. This is not an egotistical way at all. It's not meant to be that stuff with love, but it's like, it's a different thing when you see someone and they're like at your level or around your level. You're just like, oh my gosh, finally some competition. No one talks about this. Competition is so good. When I'm with my homies and we're doing like, who could do 1,000 push-ups? I'm getting tired. I look to my left. My boy over there is cranking them out. My boy over on the right, he's cranking them out. And it just, I'm tired, but I see them going. I'm still gonna go. It's, when I saw like Angel planching, it immediately, like 1 or 2 months later of me seeing this man straddle planche, I got a straddle planche 2 months after that. It's just like, it's a very big mental game of limiting belief of like, wow, this is something that's possible. So getting someone who's like really good, no matter what it is, if he's a better hand balancer, better endurance guy, a better statics, better freestyle, meet someone who's better than you and hang out with them. Because you're probably better than them at something that they're trying to get. For me, I've always been an endurance guy. Like I could probably do like, not probably, but like I would always do like crazy routines. So I would do like 120 push-ups in a row, straight, full lockout. I would do 25 pulls, 10 muscle ups, 50 dips, all that, weighted, all this stuff. And it would amaze people. But then I would see my boy, he would do like full planche push-ups. I was like, whoa, that was amazing. It really like, it's like opened your mind to knowing how far and how much stronger you actually could be. And it's like, it kind of makes you nervous, like a good nervous, especially if you're like a little competitive. Seeing people that are better than you is going to make you be on the best possible game. But if you're just around it with a bunch of, no disrespect, but like a bunch of nobodies, I mean, yeah, we're just guys who work out. But like if you see someone who's like really strong, there's someone who's just like, oh yeah, there's just like a community center. Nobody here works out seriously. If you see someone who's super strong, you're just like, oh man, I gotta be on my game. So those are the biggest secrets I see in calisthenics and no one talks about it. I hope this helps. Inshallah. May Allah bless y'all. But yeah, it's my first official YouTube video as a calisthenics guy. So I'm probably gonna make some in the future, inshallah. I'll see y'all.